like what exactly has been going on in my life. I said goodbye to my UX bootcamp lifestyle just to figure out what kind of designer I really wanted to be. It was an opportunity for me to also go on vacation. Imposter syndrome will never fully disappear. It's always gonna just be a roller coaster adventure. I'm doing a lot better, of course. I mean, I'm working now. Like that time I was just kind of like in my own rabbit hole. All I did was read manga and watch anime. Rewatched Demon Slayer. I wasn't thinking about doing freelancing, but thanks to Clubhouse, the app, Hi, my name is Estie. Nice to meet you. I did a UX bootcamp and I became a UX designer, and it's been exactly a year since I started UX. Yay! That's so crazy. Oh my god. I haven't seen you guys in so long. I hope that you guys have been okay. If this is our first time meeting, or if this is like your first video seeing me, then nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I just wanted to do a quick recap of everything that I've been doing. I haven't honestly been really productive. If anything, if you guys are also struggling with productivity, then I am right up your alley. Like, I'm with you, so you guys aren't alone. I can't be the only one, right? Okay. Anyways, I kind of just want to go by month of like what exactly has been going on in my life, to just thank everyone who's just been subscribed to this channel. I get shocked. Like, I'm like, wow, people are actually invested and they really support and want to be friends with me. So nice to meet you again. Or it's been a while. So I'm excited to be here. Right now, I'm a freelancing UX designer, and how I came to become a freelancer is exactly why I made this video, and also to update y'all. So I'll start rewinding to April. So if you see my last video, which is the April vlog, that's where I'm gonna start our conversation from. So after getting vaccinated and everything, I eventually said goodbye to the UX I said goodbye to my UX bootcamp lifestyle. After that, I also said goodbye to my job at a design agency that I got during the bootcamp, which was at Hummingbird Day. So I stopped working from there, and I no longer have any affiliation with whatever that agency is doing. And yeah, so I said goodbye. I thought it was a right time. Like, I worked there for roughly 6 months or so, and I didn't feel that the direction that the agency was wanting me to go towards was exactly where I wanted to be. And with that said, I wanted more UX work. The goals of what I was doing is basically more like copywriting stuff, and I'm like, this is not what I want to do. So I said goodbye, and I wanted to really try like pursuing my career and trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. That's where it kind of bled into May, where I was actively meeting different designers every week just to figure out what kind of designer I really wanted to be. I decided to continue to meet designers, and then there was an opportunity for me to also go on vacation, so that now I was like vaccinated fully. A lot of the protocols for COVID were lifted. It was a great time to visit my bestie in Boston, who was studying pharmacy, and she was graduating. So I wanted to say hi, celebrate it with her, and just also go to New York with her. In Boston, I just kind of spent the time with my friend. We went to go eat oysters, and it was so delicious. And I had clam chowder, Boston, New England clam chowder. And I also went to a lot of picnics. Surprisingly, East Coast people, especially in Boston, they love picnics, and it just comes so natural to them. I wish it was more normalized here, but here it's a little different. I don't see a lot of picnics happening as often. The most picnics I went was probably during COVID because of like restaurants closing, indoor seating and stuff. And the weather was beautiful, and it was such a nice trip. It's such a nice getaway from this current like home situation. It was a really nice getaway because I've never really actually like went on a trip, and it's been a while since I have. It's been literally a year. So it was nice. And then we also booked tickets to go on a train to New York, and it took around 3 hours, just around the time it takes for me to go to Vegas from where I live in LA. So yeah, we stayed in New York for a couple of days and enjoyed the time there visiting museums because I love museums. I majored in art history in college at UCI. Zot was it like this, like zot. It's so embarrassing doing this. Like, why did I think of this? And right after college, I got a job at a museum in downtown LA called the Broad Museum. It's not pronounced the Broad, it's the Broad. It's someone's last name, it's the owner's last name. Working in behind the scenes in logistics for museums, it kind of gave me a different level of understanding and respect for museum staff. And yeah, so I've always feel like working in other museums, I always think about like the logistics of how they carry over everything else. I'm touring the galleries, so it's really interesting now that I've worked there before. But anyways, went to a lot of museums and ate good food. That was pretty much my May experience. In June, I started to go to more cafes and like find miscellaneous work to work on my computer. Starting this year, for some reason, like I took a couple sips of coffee again and I'm like, wait, I forgot about this. And like my go-to coffees are flat white or cold brew. And for the summer, I've been really like espresso tonic. If you haven't looked it up, go Google it. If there's a cafe near you that provides espresso tonic, try it out. It's a very refreshing drink for the summer if you like coffee. It's kind of bitter. In June, technically last month, I was really unmotivated, and I think that stemmed from an imposter syndrome that peaked for me once again. I have fully accepted that imposter syndrome will always come in waves and will never fully disappear. First, to come in terms with it, that is never fully gonna go away. It's always gonna just be a roller coaster adventure. When I try to overcome it, first accept it is what it is. That what I'm feeling is genuine, what I'm feeling is valid, and that it's normal. When I talk to more experienced UX designers, told me that they get imposter syndrome as well. That by no means should you like beat yourself down for it. But that doesn't disregard the fact that you can't control your emotions sometimes and you can't fully escape from it. And so when that does happen, I remind myself that, you know, I was a better designer than I was yesterday. I was a better designer than I was a month ago, and I'm actually a designer when I fully thought I had no idea what UX was exactly a year ago. So in of itself, I should be pretty proud of myself, and if that's your case too, you should be proud of yourself too. We are progressing, we are improving, and we can only look forward to how we can grow in a year from now. Because exactly a year ago, I was working at a corporate job and I was not happy. I was legit like a Korean secretary for a Korean boss, and that was a very great learning experience. I learned the ways of like how to work in a Korean culture and working for a Korean CEO. That full title under the CEO for a Korean company was being an executive assistant for a CEO. It was in a fashion industry, so it was a very fast-paced environment. I feel pretty proud of myself that I changed and pivoted my career transition to something that I do enjoy, something that I can work for to work. My Korean boss never actually directly told me anything. I always had to figure it out myself. And just thinking about how I was a year ago, especially, and how much I've grown right now as a UX designer, just to know that you don't need drastic changes. I think as people, we just want like very fast results. Overall, still the imposter syndrome did set in. It was a little discouraging still, like I can't control it, right? So I felt better eventually, and that's how I felt better. But amidst of it, I think I just became very lazy and lethargic about everything. Like I just didn't want to think about anything. Oh my god, it's gonna make me look really bad. I literally just stayed in my bed and didn't do anything. All I did was read manga and watch anime. Rewatched Demon Slayer. Freaking. I caught up to Fruits Basket. I'm doing a lot better, of course. I mean, I'm working now. Like that time I was just kind of like in my own rabbit hole, and that gone for like a few days.
It's kind of embarrassing.
So yeah, I mean, maybe because of this conversation, so I'll just share my top 3 anime that I really enjoy right now. Well, one already ended, and that's 86. The second one I enjoy is Higehiro, And the third I enjoy is Tokyo Revengers. And Tokyo Revengers, like, it's still ongoing, but I think in June I couldn't wait for the next episode because it's only one episode per week. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna read the manga. And this is what I do when I read the manga. Like, I read the manga, right? And I go so far ahead. I feel like I don't need to watch the anime until, like, let's say there's an action scene that I really want to see in anime. Like, I want to see this live, right? In action form. And from there, like, I just kind of, I forget to go back to the anime.
That's my problem.
So going back into the imposter syndrome situation and me diverging into anime and manga. Mana too, like Korean manga is called mana. So I also read a lot of mana as my stress reliever slash emotional comfort, you know, escaping reality for a bit, and then realizing that, you know, I still have my current lifestyle I need to like figure out. Yeah, so I felt better by reminding myself that I am at a better place than I was a year ago, and I have improved a lot as a UX designer. Once I felt better about myself and I was more open-minded to get back into work, into UX, I met some people on Clubhouse who actually gave me referrals to clients. For the past 2 months, I have still been actively hosting rooms on Clubhouse. Any designer can join the room and we can meet and chat, and it's supposed to kind of feel like a coffee cafe vibe. To be honest, I was not expecting to freelance. I was planning on traveling for about 2 months overseas, and my destination that I was thinking of was Korea because my family missed our grandfather's funeral during COVID. My grandma doesn't feel comfortable us visiting since both my parents, especially my mom, I don't know if you came through and seen all of my journey, my videos, but there was one video I kind of broke down, and that was because of family, and that was also a member in my family, aka my mom. And yeah, it was just, yeah, and that's also the reason why I'm at home helping out my family. And with that said, my grandma didn't feel comfortable with my mom trying her best to like force her way into going to Korea. My grandma just thought like, is this really necessary? Can't you just wait until everything gets better? Because also lifestyle in Korea right now is not as at its prime. There's a lot of restrictions still in place, and my grandma just overall kind of didn't think it was worth it. And now we're in a place where we're like, okay, well, I mean, I really want to go to Korea, but you know. My grandma had just told us in the last couple of weeks that she does not approve of us coming and visiting her and our grandpa's grave because she's so worried about our health and so worried about the current situation that it's not the right time. Like, she's very worried and paranoid. And I wasn't thinking about doing freelancing, but thanks to Clubhouse, the app, I was connected to clients through other designers, and that's how I just embraced the freelance opportunity because these designers connected me to clients who are literally in my local area. That was awesome. And so I learned you never know until you try, and if anything, this can benefit for the both of us, and both myself and the client. Like, I could continue to improve. I kind of built this freelance opportunity for myself. Like, you never know who you're gonna meet, you never know who's thinking of you, and at the end of the day, just be very vocal of what you're looking for. You never know who's listening and who will remember you. And I feel humble and grateful that there are, you know, potential clients who are willing to work with me, who have seen my portfolio and think it's worthy of the rate that I ask for, the rate I try to negotiate for. I haven't really had a lot of problems with that as well. I feel very content with right now with how things have blossomed in terms of getting paid as a UX designer. A lot of those tips that I get for freelancing is from Christo from the future. Matthew Insigne was also from the future, but I know he just branched out to do his own thing, which is great. Rand Segal from the Flux Academy. There's also someone else. There was someone else. I can't remember it right off my bat. I'm so sorry. I feel bad if I can't remember you. Like, your face is like in my head, and I just watched a video of you talking on IG. Handle right here. Okay, great. I am still learning to be a freelance designer, but overall the process has been very great, and that's where I'm at eventually. And so my whole idea that I picture right now is I am open to the opportunities that I have with me, but I do want to work for a corporate company. I do want to work for a large UX team who embraces product design, product strategy, and UX research. But for now, I will embrace this freelancing because, guys, I forget I have a corporate experience and I work right under literally like a CEO, and so I'm always on the go and always thinking of next steps and what the next plan is and making sure I'm on top of everything. But freelancing is a different life. Like, I wake up whenever I want, I work whenever I want. Like, my schedule though, like I block out my work schedule and I usually cap it out around like 4 to 5 depending on how early I start working. But overall, like, no one's in charge of my schedule, and literally I think that's the beauty of freelancing. It does require a lot of self-discipline, and I think if that fits you, then that's great. So some products I've been really liking while doing freelancing so far, I mean, I'm a noob, but here we go. It's Google Hangouts for doing meetings, Notion. Like, I'm getting all of my clients on Notion so that they can track my progress and where I'm at in the design process so that nothing is confusing and everything's very clear. And I teach them, I go through like a quick tutorial with them of how to use Notion in the way that I created the platform template for. We communicate on Slack. I create a Slack channel for the team. Thankfully, so far, the client has hired developers. I didn't have to actually develop anything. But nevertheless, I'm still practicing on Webflow. I do kind of pick up side projects for me to work on my own in case that can be a possibility. Thankfully, at least for me, I can just focus on design, which is really nice. Yeah, that's where I'm at. This was supposed to be a quick update. Thanks for waiting on this journey. Thanks for subscribing to this channel. Thanks for being my bestie, my UX bestie. And I'll see you later. Bye.
Girl, you make me go so loco, loco, make me go crazy. We would make a beautiful baby. Knock on wood, is you trying to date me? Is it yes, is it no, is it maybe?